arms! We are armed!
What would you do if you knew all the things we knew? Would you stand up for truth? Or would you turn away too? And then what if you saw all of the things that's wrong? Would you stand tall and strong? Or would you turn and walk away? What would you do if you knew all the things we knew? Would you stand up for truth? Or would you turn away too? And then what if you saw all of the things that's wrong? Would you stand tall and strong? Or would you turn and walk away?
Everything they said turned out to be a lie. Everything they said turned out to be a lie.
It may have started with the Easter Bunny or St. Nicholas. Even more ridiculous, a tooth fairy. From there we're forced to recite the pledge. Hail Mary, one nation under God. Why us? Don't question, son, you're burning hell. Pay attention to the lies that we're told to tell. Teacher teaches us Columbus was a hero. He stole lands, he stole lives of so-called Indians. From the Tainos to the Africans. Respect Thomas Jefferson? He molested Sally Hemings. And now they say Reagan was a great man. The godfather of crack babies? Denying of the AIDS plague? I ran fast as I could to the library to find out they trace the books I read. These lies got me surrounded. There's a war on truth. Ain't it on me? It started with that first lies too. We saw the towers fall to ashes like they were laced with bombs. Are you sure only 2 planes did that harm? You told us Flight 77 hit the Pentagon. But there's no photos of parts, man. Plus the science is wrong. You let it happen like FDR did Pearl Harbor so you could profit from war. Sorta like your father taking lives and oil in the name of freedom. Our innocent are either tortured, left homeless, or bleeding. Just to America is what they scream while you preach freedom and the American dream. Truth dying, mothers crying, still trying to cope while you're denying that the dangers from Iraq was a hoax. You're not a man of the people, just a product of evil. Greed, power, and God, a combination that's lethal. So the sequel is criminal, but soon the truth will rise. Lies.
Pelted by debris when the North Tower collapsed, 7 burned until late afternoon, allowing occupants to evacuate to safety.
I remember getting a call from the fire department commander telling me that they were not sure they were going to be able to contain the fire. And I said, you know, we've had such terrible loss of life. Maybe the smartest thing to do is pull it. And they made that decision to pull, and then we watched the building collapse.
Welcome back. Millions of people watched the horror of 9/11 right before their very eyes, live on television. 2 planes crashing into the World Trade Center, and less than a couple of hours later, both towers, of course, collapsing. My next guest says that hijackers may not have brought down the towers by themselves. Here to explain his controversial theory, Stephen Jones. He's a professor of physics at Brigham Young University in Provo, Utah. Professor Jones, thanks for coming on.
Sure, thanks, Tucker.
Well, just sum up this, obviously, your theory, just the one sentence that I just explained in the intro, contradicts what we all think we know about how these towers collapsed. Quickly sum up your explanation for what happened.
Well, I'd like to start with this paper that you referred to. It's available online. What I'm doing, Tucker, is presenting evidence but it's a hypothesis to be tested. That's a big difference from a conclusion. And so I just wanted to clarify that. But to sum up, I've looked at the official reports by FEMA and so on regarding the collapse of these buildings.
Right.
I'd like to look at the collapse of Building 7 in just a minute. It was not even hit by a jet, so we should look at that
the two towers, the explanation has been that the fire inside was so intense that it weakened the structural steel and that each floor collapsed down upon the next in a pancake fashion, and they imploded in on themselves. Is that essentially, I think, what people think?
Yeah, that's basically it, yeah. And so what I've done is to analyze these reports. But I would like to do a little experiment with you, Tucker, if I could. I sent out a video clip of the collapse of Building 7, because most people haven't actually seen that one, and that's the crux of the argument that I'm presenting.
To sum up very quickly the argument for us, you believe there were explosives in the buildings planted by someone, detonated.
Well, yeah.
Is that correct?
In other words, the hypothesis to be tested is there's two hypotheses here. One is fire and damage caused all three buildings to collapse.
Okay.
The other is that explosives in the buildings may have caused the collapse. And so then we analyze and see which fits the data better. And I've done that in my 25-page paper.
I want to read you a quote from the Deseret Morning News, a paper in Utah from you. I'm quoting now. "It is quite plausible that explosives were pre-planted in all three buildings and set off after the two plane crashes, which were actually a diversion tactic. Muslims are probably not to blame for bringing down the World Trade Center buildings after all." That's, I would think, pretty offensive to a lot of people listening. Do you have any evidence for that? I mean,
well, not to the Muslims, I might say.
Well, that's a good.
I've had a lot of emails saying.
I'm sure your writings have been greeted with glee in Islamabad and Peshawar and places like that. But for Americans,
well, I haven't received any notes from there, but just good people. I have Muslim friends. Let me read, for example, but I'm not going to let you off the hook. I really want to do this experiment with you.
Well, we don't have a lot of time for experiments, Professor, but if you could just give us one thing to hold on to. How you make these claims or appear to make these claims. Do you have any evidence that there were bombs in the building?
Sure. Let's start with the collapse of Building 7. Can you roll the video clip that I sent to you?
Okay, I'm not sure if we can, but to specify, that is World Trade Center building number 7, smaller than the other two, was not hit by a plane, of course, yet it collapsed.
Right, it's 47 stories.
That's right.
24 steel columns in the center.
Right.
Trusses asymmetrically supported. Now, I can't see what you're seeing, so
we just see the building. And just so our viewers know, the explanation that I think is conventional is that there was a large tank of diesel fuel stored in the lower level of that, which caught fire, and the resulting fire collapsed the building.
Well, that's basically it, yeah. But as we read in the FEMA report, it says here, and I put this in my paper, of course, the best hypothesis, which is the only one they looked at, the fire, has only a low probability of occurrence. Further investigation, analyses are needed to resolve this issue, and I agree with that.
Okay.
But they admit there's only a low probability. And if you look at the collapse, you see what I've studied is the fall time, the symmetry, the fact that it first dips in the middle, that's called the kink, which is very characteristic, of course, of controlled demolition.
Professor, I am sorry that we are out of time, and I'm not sure that
one other thing I want to mention about...
Okay, if you can hit it, with it quickly.
All right. Okay, here we go. Molten metal in the basements of all three buildings.
Right.
And yet all scientists now reasonably agree that the fires were not sufficiently hot to melt the steel. So what is this molten metal? It's a direct evidence for the use of high-temperature explosives such as thermite. Thermite produces molten iron as an end product.
Okay.
So we do have... it's a very short time, but people will read the paper. Then I talk about the molten metal, the symmetry of the collapse, and the weaknesses and inadequacies of the fire hypothesis.
Professor, we're going to have to leave it to our viewers who are interested enough to follow up to do just that. We appreciate your coming on, even if I don't understand your theories. We appreciate you trying to explain them. Thanks.
Okay.
Never before in history have steel-framed high-rise buildings collapsed because of fire. Now, some people say, well, it wasn't just fire, these big planes hit them. Well, People who've looked at this said that's insignificant. Besides, no plane hit building number 7, which is a 47-story skyscraper, and it came down also. Furthermore, even if you were going to have fire weaken a building, it would have to be enormous fires. They would have to be very hot, not ordinary hydrocarbon fires that you get from kerosene, which is what jet fuel is. And they would have to be very long-lasting. These fires didn't last. The South Tower came down in 57 minutes. There's an enormous amount of steel in a 110-story building that is steel framed inside and outside. And yet they're telling us now the only thing they mention here, they mentioned that South Tower collapsed in 10 seconds. Can you imagine how fire would bring down a 110-story building in free fall speed? One of the places where you just know they're absolutely lying and cheating is they give you an account that makes it sound plausible that these towers could have come down. They tell you that in the core of each building was a hollow shaft that was just filled with elevators and staircases. Yeah, and 47 massive steel columns. That's what the World Trade, these buildings were all about. This was this unique structure at the time. These 47 massive steel things going up into the air. So massive at the bottom. So even if you accepted the official theory, which is a pancake theory, that somehow the connectors between the columns in the middle and then the peripheral beams around the building, somehow those snapped and then the floors came down, and that floor was so heavy it hit the net and it just going down. Can you imagine that happening in 10 seconds? And even if it did, just like if in the old records, when the records fell on the spindle, and those of you who are old enough to remember those, the spindle's still there. So why aren't those 47 towers still sticking up in the air? But the pictures show they totally collapse. You have something that's no more than 3 stories high.
Yeah, where the fuck? What did we do? We made it outside. We made it about a block.
We made it at least 2 blocks, and we started running. Floor by floor, it started popping out.
It was if they had detonated.
Detonated.
They were planned to take down a building. Boom, 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 boom.
All the way down. I was watching it and running.
Just ran up West
Street. And then you just sort of, this cloud of shit chasing you down.
Couldn't outrun it. West Street.
Couldn't outrun it.
So what'd you do?
I jumped behind a battalion car, I hit under the car, I was just waiting to die.
On September 11th, the world saw the evils of man. We all know where you're going. We know that you're out there. You can't hide forever. We know that you're out there. It was a September morning when America was tricked by sick men with strict plans to create conflict and get rich by any means, even if it meant death for innocent civilians. The stage was set for a new American century where world domination is motivation enough for the tower's cremation. Complete obliteration for all to see. A public execution on live TV. Programmed to strike fear in the young and the old who naively trade freedom for government controls. Thinking the system will keep them safe from terror, but truth is they're the killers and the pallbearers, the masters of deception, all running the globe. They're like souls, sold our sons and daughters for black gold in full attack mode. It's the final push. Where the Reichstag was for Hitler, 9/11 is for Bush. We all know where you're going. We know that you're out there. You can't hide forever. We know that you're out there. think Operation North was in 62. Evidence there's no limit to the evil they'll do. They plan to blow up planes and blame it on Cuba. This ain't conspiracy theory or a rumor. So why would it be difficult to believe that these parasitical thieves live just like fleas, surviving off the blood of murder civilians? They smile and praise Jesus like schizophrenics. This ain't a war on terror, it's a war on truth. I believe Osama did it when he showed me the proof. Those who could have made it happen worked on the inside. Who called Willie Brown and warned him not to fly? This was domestic terrorism at its highest level. Bush, Cheney, Rumsfeld in league with the devil. Born Unicare, Halliburton and more. Corporate mercenaries benefiting from war.
We all know where you're going. We know that you're out there. You can't hide forever. We know that you're out there. And we know what you did. And we know what you did.
As for you puppet journalists who spew fiction as fact and bury lies which told to invade Iraq and Afghanistan, you're a part of the scam that allows the carnage of child, woman and man. The 9/11 Commission's rendition of truth is fiction. Tower 7 ain't mentioned. Why the omission of his controlled demolition? Silverstein said, pull it. There's more spin on your book than that magic bullet. From Pennsylvania to the lawn of the Pentagon, the cons on. You sent pawns with things wrong like pythons that spawn another Saigon. For cash, oil profits soar. As rockets crash, it was a high-rise genocide plan from the inside. NORAD, let it fly. Bush paid the ISI, CIA, FBI, got the world terrorized. Your lies don't justify globalized homicide. 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 Homicide.
Folks, they wouldn't be focusing all this propaganda on you and your family if you didn't have power, if you couldn't affect change. They're afraid of you. The most propagandized, brainwashed people in the country are police and military and government officials and bureaucrats, because they have to be brainwashed. They have to be conditioned that what they're doing is okay, but they're compartmentalized. You have to break the silence. You have to end the silence. You have to say, never again to tyranny. And you have to learn from history. So start studying this information. Don't believe a word I've said or that anybody said. Check it out for yourself. And then begin to educate others. And there's tens of millions of us that are already awake. What if we go out and wake up others? That's hundreds of millions. It's our job to ring the alarm bells like Paul Revere did back in 1776 against the tyranny of their day. It's time for us to believe that we can affect change and we can get involved.
That is valuable information for those of us who have the responsibility to protect the American people. He told us the operatives had been instructed to ensure that the explosives went off at a point that was high enough to prevent people trapped above from escaping.
What would you do if you knew all the things we knew? Would you stand up for truth? Or would you turn away too? And then what if you saw all of the things that's wrong? Would you stand tall and strong? Or would you turn it away?
I see a message from the government. Like every day, I watch it and listen and call them all suckers. They wanted me about Osama or whatever. Picture me buying the scam. I said never. You in tune to a hard truth soldier spitting. I stay committed, gives a fuck to die, I lose commission. It's all a part of fighting devil state mind control. And all about the battle for your body, mind, and soul. And now I'm hoping you don't close your mind so they shape you. Don't forget they made us slaves, gave us AIDS and raped us. Another Bush season mean another war for profit. All in secret so the public never think to stop it. The Illuminati, 666, all connected. Stole the votes, they control the race and take elections. It's the Skull and Bones Freemason Kill Committee. See the dragon getting shittier in every city.
What would you do if you knew all the things we knew? Would you stand up for truth? Or would you turn
of who's the one with the most to gain. For 9/11, motherfuckers couldn't stand his name. Now even niggas waving flags like they lost their mind. Everybody got opinions but don't know the time. Cause America's been took, it's plain to see. The oldest trick in the book is make an enemy. A phony evil so the government can do its dirt and take away your freedom, lock and load, beat and search. Ain't nothing changed but more colored people locked in prison. These pigs still beat us, but it seems we forgetting. But I remember 4 September how these devils do it. Fuck Giuliani, ask Diallo how he doing. We in the streets, holler jail to the thief. Follow, fuck waving flags, bring these dragons to their knees. Oil, blood, money, make these killers ride cold. Suspicious suicide, people dying, never told. It's all a part of playing God, so you think we need them. While being Ashcroft, take away your rights to freedom. Bear witness to the sickness of these dictators. Hope you understand the time, brother, cause it's major.
What would you do if you do all the things we know? Would you stand up for truth, or would you turn away too? And then what if you saw all of the things that's wrong? Would you stand tall and strong, or would you turn down?
So now you asking why my records always come the same. Keep it real, ain't no fillers, motherfucker blinging. Mine eyes seen the glory of the coming of the beast. So every story, every word, I'm saying fuck peace. See, you could witness the Illuminati body count. Don't be surprised, these is devils that I'm talking about. You think a couple thousand lies mean shit to killers? Nigga, I swear to God, we the ones, ain't no villains. Or any other word they think to demonize a country. Ain't no terror threat unless approval rating slumping. So I'ma say it for the record, we the ones that planned it. Ain't no other country took a part, I had their hand in. Just a way to keep you scary so you think you need them. Praising Bush while that killer take away your freedom. How many of us got discovered but ignore the symptoms? Niggas talking loud but ain't nobody saying shit. And with the 4th Amendment gone, eyes are on the 1st. That's why I'm spitting cyanide each and every verse. I see the Carlisle group inherits bank accounts. I see them plead the 5th each and every session now. And while White Stag burns, see the public buy it. I see the profiling, see the media's compliance. War's good for business, see the vicious make a savior. Hope you understand the time, brother, cause it's major.
What would you do if you knew all the things we know? Would you stand up for truth, or would you turn away too?